Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Tyrone back with Tech Life, and I'm sure a lot of you have been waiting on this video. T-Mobile had their quarterly earnings call earlier today, and a lot of people immediately when the numbers released, there were a lot of articles that came out, and I noticed I received a lot of emails, and the big question on the emails was how did T-Mobile surpass AT&T in subscriber count? And the reason they asked that was because AT&T's total subscriber count is like 140 million subscribers. I don't know the exact number off the top of my head, but it's some crazy insane number because they have other business segments that are included in that total. So they have TV, home broadband, connected cars, direct TV, all of that is included in that total number. So what T-Mobile essentially is counting, and they're only counting this individual number, that's postpaid. They're only counting postpaid to state what they're claiming. And in fact, according to the numbers, now that they combined with Sprint, they indeed did pass up AT&T to move into second place on postpaid only, not including prepaid, not including any other business segment. They're just talking about postpaid. And from that, they did move into that second place and they moved AT&T to third. So the next question was, what does that really mean? And I got to say, it doesn't mean much because T-Mobile is still going to be judged based on their network. At least here with us, we're still judging T-Mobile by its network. That's what I see in the comment section. Hey, I had to leave T-Mobile because the network wasn't great where I lived or where I worked. Or I see, hey, I joined T-Mobile and the network was great. So that's really how we are going to judge T-Mobile, and I think everyone else should judge them based on their product, which is the network. Now, that's the reason I think it doesn't mean much. But what could this potentially mean? Does it make AT&T even more competitive? If you really dig deep and you look at the all the deals, you go online, you look at the website, if you dig deep, AT&T has some pretty great deals if you think about it for moving to them. They're just not really great at marketing those deals. I still think they offer one of the best packages in terms of coverage, value, and price points. You get the HBO Max. The network is growing every day. It's a solid size. As we know, it's bigger than T-Mobile's network. So I think that's my opinion. You may disagree in the comment section down below. But that's what I think, and that's my opinion on that. But I do think it could, not force AT&T, but it could make them to become even more competitive. Maybe they rethink their strategy. Maybe they come up with better marketing. The network is already good, but it seems like T-Mobile is beating them on marketing. So T-Mobile's marketing team is really good. They know how to market their product. They've been doing it for years, and they're continuing to do it the same way. So they're really good at doing that, and I think that could reinvent and motivate AT&T to fix their other core issues that they have, such as the billing, the customer service. And from that aspect, this could be good that T-Mobile moved into that second spot. But again, from a network standpoint, not even close yet. AT&T is pulling away daily, but it seems from a size standpoint on postpaid and wireless, it seems that T-Mobile has even widened the gap. So they passed them at the beginning of the quarter when they did the unification numbers, and it seems like throughout the quarter, T-Mobile stated that they're pulling away from AT&T in terms of postpaid. So this is another, this could be another motivation and inspiration for AT&T to push, to keep going and take it to the next level and become really competitive to gain back that second place, or hell, even go for Verizon, like what T-Mobile stated today, that hey, AT&T's in our rear view, Verizon, we're coming for you. So That's the kind of competition that I like to see. But we don't know. We're still having to wait for Dish. What they're going to do, no idea. It's coming soon, apparently, but we don't know what they're going to offer, how they're going to enter the postpaid market. I think they need to become the new uncarrier. T-Mobile uncarrier is probably going to be done because of the fact that they have to start making bigger profits. But I think Dish has to come in with a clear message, transparent, open strategy, say this is what we're going to do, this is how we're going to do it, and this is how we're going to get there. So I think that's the message that Dish needs to have. But it's going to get very competitive. But if we look at the quarterly numbers for T-Mobile, they added 1.245 million customers for the quarter. Now, how did they get there? That's a lot of people during a pandemic getting a merger together, still at over a million. People are like insane. A lot of people email me saying, whoa, how did this happen? What did they do? So just something that we want to look at is from a postpaid net adds standpoint, T-Mobile really underperformed. So they added 253,000 postpaid net adds, which in prior quarters previously, they usually are on that number above 500,000. So they did underperform on that, but they already stated that in Q3 and Q4, they're expecting it to go up, to peak, to go back to normal levels. So we could start seeing those same net adds that we've seen in previous quarters in the next 2 quarters. Potentially, we don't know. We don't know the landscape of how it's going to go. The pandemic is still around. Maybe the stores have to close again. Who knows? Everything right now is up in the air, 50-50. Maybe Dish comes in super ultra aggressive. We still got the MVNOs competing, the Charters, which, by the way, Charter did gain more postpaid net adds than T-Mobile. So T-Mobile was actually in second place, where in that category, they're usually in first. So just keep that in mind. There's competition out there. So that could potentially, be one of the more competitive quarters in the next 2 quarters, especially with Charter now getting close to 400,000 postpaid net adds. So just keep that in mind. I think competition is healthy. I think it's going to kickstart AT&T. Of course, T-Mobile is already ultra competitive. The only thing that we can still judge them on really is their network. It's still smaller than AT&T and Verizon. It still underperforms in a lot of areas. Now, Neville Ray did state that they're now, which again, they're doing the same thing. They did it for years, so don't get too hyped about it. But T-Mobile is under-promising and over-delivering. So originally, Neville Ray stated, and this is where he contradicted himself, he said they're going to be able to do 1,000 sites per month, which everybody was like, whoa, that's basic math. It's going to take them longer than 5 years if they can only do 1,000 per month. And they have close to, 50, 55, 60,000 sites, would take way too long. Now he stated today that they're able to do 700 sites per week. So that's a big difference. That's 2,800 towers upgraded a month. That's a lot of towers if they're able to do that. If that's the legit number, if that's really happening, that is under promise, over deliver all the way. They've done it for years. The next quarter, we're going to hear him say, my team is the fastest in the industry on rolling out cell sites. Whereas Sprint was the complete opposite. Sprint overpromised and underdelivered. That's how Sprint operated. And T-Mobile has always been the opposite. They've always said they would do less, and they actually did more. So, it's just different strategies, whatever works for what company. I think that the under promise, over deliver has worked for T-Mobile. I think it's going to continue working. So if it's not broke, don't fix it type of attitude is what they're taking. So again, the quarter was good. The numbers people are saying are inflated. They're now including proxy numbers as an ad and all these other ads. If that's what they're doing, more power to them. Is it wrong? You may think so, but that's how they're going about presenting their ads. So if that helps them sleep at night, then that's on T-Mobile. But again, the only thing that we can judge them on from here on out is the product. And the fact is, although they did on postpaid surpass AT&T, the network is still far smaller than the big two on a geographical footprint, and it's still not performing speed wise as fast as the big two. We've seen it. AT&T has taken the top spot, followed by Verizon, and then T-Mobile speeds are going down on a quarterly basis. They have stated that 10% of Sprint's customer base is using the T-Mobile network. So this is kind of how they started with the Metro PCS. They moved about 10% people onto the network. But apparently Neville Ray stated that they can migrate people faster now because 85% of Sprint's customer base is voice over LTE capable, which back then with Metro PCS wasn't possible because that was a CDMA network. LTE is now the standard, so a CDMA is the old technology. It's 3G. That's out the door. That's gone. So that's going to be in the future able to really help T-Mobile migrate those customers very easily, and it shouldn't be a big deal. But here's another thing now. I saw a question asked earlier by Walt Pychek, and he wasn't able to get that question answered. This was the first time I've ever seen them skip Walt on the quarterly earnings. But he asked, what if Sprint had 80% of its customer base already migrated to T-Mobile's network, not necessarily the plans or anything like that, just onto the network? Would the network as it is today be able to handle that additional traffic? I think, in my personal opinion, I think that was a great question. I think Neville would have probably had a hard time answering it. He probably would have been trying to dodge the question in many ways. But I don't think the network can handle it. I don't think it was built in some regions, some areas, some cities. The network just isn't built for that additional influx that quick. In a lot of areas, Verizon has built the network according to what size of market share they have. That's how it works, because people have always questioned back then when T-Mobile was claiming that they had the fastest 4G LTE network. People were saying, well, wait a minute. Verizon has 100 and something million customers, and they're still right there in the speed department. How did Verizon achieve it? Well, again, they built their network according to the size of customers they have, and the same with AT&T. T-Mobile's network is not built to handle that size of customer base coming in from Sprint. That's why they have to roll out the 2.5 that quickly to obtain at least a decent experience early on. At a later time, after that's done, of course, T-Mobile is going to focus on hidden traffic, additional small cells that are needed, and additional towers. But for now, they just have to go with the integration and hope that 2.5 can handle the traffic, the additional traffic that's going to be moved over to the network in the next couple of months. So again, for me, just to summarize the ending of the video, give you guys my opinion, and then I want to hear from you guys in the comment section down below. I think it was a solid quarter from T-Mobile to be able to pull off what they did during the pandemic. But again, we are going to, on this channel, judge them on their product, and it is still the smaller network, the slower network, if we want to call that. So that's just something that T-Mobile is going to have to figure out. They're now in the big boy leagues. They can't be thinking small-minded anymore. I'm the smaller carrier. They're now going to be considered part of the big two. That's what the merger was initially about. Combining 4 with the 3 would make a stronger third player to be able to compete on scale with AT&T and Verizon. Now T-Mobile has to show it. They got to show us what they can do. Can they push it to the next level, to the limit? That remains to be seen. We have an indication right now that it could start heating up, but we don't know for sure. But one thing that we do know is they got a lot of spectrum. They got 319 megahertz of it on average, and they got to put it to use. They stated on the quarterly earnings, which I find a little confusing, that their capital investment in the network is going to remain flat for Q3. So that means they're going to spend the same amount in Q3 as they did in Q2. And then they stated that in Q4 is when we would see the increase in the capital investment. So Q4, they could potentially go from doing 700 sites per week to above that 1,000 mark that they originally hinted. They said at the short term end goal is to do 5,000 layovers per month. That's 5,000 tower upgrades with 2.5. That's the short term end goal. They were going to do 1,000. Remember, they're doing 700 per week. So I think they can crush. In my opinion, I think they can crush that 5,000 per month goal. I think they can get to from 7,000 to 7,500 in a month, in my opinion, if they invest heavy and they really focus on just integration. If they start wandering off with other little projects here and there, then I think they're going to stick to that 5,000 per month. And by other little projects, I mean, adding new coverage, adding sites here and there, still adding a couple of small cells at least. Then I think they stick to that 5,000 per month. But other than that, I think they have a fairly decent, clear message. I know there's some shady stuff going on behind the scenes, but policy changes, fees increasing. But for now, we know they can't really raise pricing for the first 3 years, and I don't think they will. They stated on today's call they want to remain competitive amongst their own customers, especially the ones coming from Sprint. They want to make them feel welcome. They want to operate them and treat them like they are still a Sprint customer, because they feel if they push them and force them into something that they're just going to leave, and it's going to create an increase in churn. So they're going to leave them as is, but slowly start migrating them over to the T-Mobile brand over time and get them out of that plan. So let me know what you think about all that in the comment section down below. Let me know if you thought that T-Mobile had a good quarter, or you think the numbers are inflated by the additional ads that they're not counting. Let me know all that in the comment section down below. I look forward to reading them. If you have been on the channel, you can go ahead and end this video now. If you are new to the channel, make sure you like, share, subscribe. Also hit the notification bell on YouTube so you are notified through YouTube. But also make sure to follow my Twitter. I do post the videos on there as well, and push notifications on Twitter as well. So you guys have two platforms to get the video when they are uploaded. I've been getting people telling me as recent as yesterday that YouTube is still not pushing them out on time. The most recent video, somebody said that they saw it like hours after it actually went live. So make sure that you guys follow my Twitter and push notifications there as well, so you guys have an additional outlet to get the notifications from the videos. And this is Tyrone with Tech Life, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.